Hello, and thank you for joining me. You are watching Word of Inspiration. This is a daily program that is designed to encourage you in your daily living and inspire and motivate you to fulfill your potential. My name is Dr. Bertha Ayi. Recently, I've been doing a series on the theme Be fruitful, multiply, replenish the earth, and subdue it. These are the first commandments that God gave to man in Genesis chapter 1, verse 28. It was actually a blessing he gave them. And the goal was that they would have dominion on this earth. And so today I present part 5 of Be Fruitful, and the focus is the fruit of your hands. My text is taken from the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 9 verse 10, and it reads, "Whatsoever your hands find to do, do it with all your might. For there is no work, no device, no wisdom, no knowledge in the grave where you go." What is the verse trying to say, and what is the goal of today's message? Is to let you know that whatever your hands find to do, work hard at it. Don't be lazy, because you have a commandment to be fruitful, and one of the ways you can be fruitful is the fruit of your hands. I want you to look at your hands and say, "My hands are blessed. My hands are blessed. They are blessed to be fruitful." You know, in Deuteronomy 28, one of the blessings that God says to give when we obey his commandments, he says, "I will bless the work of your hands. I will command a blessing on everything that you set your hands to do." Whether you're sewing, you're a lawyer, you're a doctor, you're a farmer, God says he's going to command. You know what it means when God commands a blessing? It's sort of like when it starts raining. Who can stop rain? Apart from when Elijah prayed and there was no rain. When God decides to pour his rain on you, it's unstoppable. God says he will command the blessing on the work of your hands. But how will he command a blessing if you don't work? So you have to go out there and work and be fruitful. One person I like to talk about today is Esther Lauder. This is a woman who has a line of cosmetics if you go into any major department store in the United States. How did she get into this? Back in the 1940s, her uncle from Hungary, the country Hungary, came to visit them, and he started making cosmetics in their kitchen. This little girl got fascinated and learned how to make cosmetics, and in 1946, she launched 4 line of skin cosmetics together with her husband. It was a small beginning, but due to her hard work, the work increased. You know what she did? She believed in one-to-one marketing. So she would come to women's salons or beauty shops and show you how her products work and the effects of her products. She was working hard and not leaving things to chance. Well, guess what? She died in 2004, a very wealthy woman. But in addition, today that company has over 46,000 employees in 150 countries, just because one woman learned how to make lotions in her own kitchen and decided to work hard. She worked at everything she could with all her might. You know, if you're a doctor, being fruitful could mean seeing more patients, writing papers, producing what you've mastered. It means you're not lazy. You're learning new technology and new things that are coming on the market. If you're a lawyer, it could mean seeing more cases. One interesting example of a lawyer who was very fruitful is Nelson Mandela. You know, and I can name other fruitful, like a preacher like Martin Luther King or Thurgood Marshall. They did not just stay in their little corner practicing law. Nelson Mandela decided to take on social issues, and he became great as a result of it. He was fruitful. If you're a preacher, anytime you prepare a message, you're being fruitful. If you're a mother, anytime you cook a meal, clean a home, you're being fruitful. The bottom line is you're not being lazy. You could be a street sweeper and be the best street sweeper. You could be a bus driver and be the best at what you do. You know, if I think about it, in the United Kingdom, I noticed they give awards to bus drivers. Bus drivers, yes, for excellence in what they do, for being outstanding, for being fruitful. Today, I want to encourage you to be fruitful. You know, one thing I've noticed is that countries are measured based on their fruitfulness. It's called the gross domestic product. How fruitful the citizens in a country are determines how wealthy they are. I have also noticed that sometimes the difference between a developing country and a developed country is not so much the people, because sometimes the same people will leave a developing country, go to a developed country, and be more productive. Why? Because of the culture of hard work. And two, sometimes they use technology. Take a street sweeper, for example. Somebody in a developing country might use a whole day to sweep a street. Somebody else in the United States, for example, might sit in a street sweeping truck, and then in 1 minute that street will be swept and he will move on to other places. The key word to notice here, it says do it with all your might. And it talks about device. Do you have a scientific technology that would make you more fruitful? Do so. Farmers in Iowa, for example, could farm thousands of acres by just themselves and their wives because they have machines. Another farmer, maybe in Ghana, might have just a hoe and might be less productive. Are they both human beings? Are they both on earth? But one is more productive. Whatsoever your hands find to do, do it with all your might. And then you look at the woman in Proverbs 31. I know she intimidates most people. She seems to be doing so much with whatever she has. First of all, the Bible says her price is far above jewels. And give her, in Proverbs 31:31, it says, give her the fruit of her hands and let her works praise her in the gates. What are the fruit of her hands? She buys a piece of land. She has a vineyard, means she's probably making wine. She makes underwear. She's more than Victoria's Secret. The Bible says she makes fine linen and delivers girdles to the merchants. She brings her food from afar. She makes her own clothes. She lays her hands to the distaff. It means she weaves. And then she sows. She plants. She's purchasing things. It says she delivers goods to the merchants. She's not lazy. She's not waiting for some man to give her some money. She wakes up and works hard. The Bible says her children rise and they call her blessed. Look at your hands and say, these hands are productive. My hands are blessed to be productive. And sometimes people, instead of being productive, actually get lazy. Proverbs 6:6 says, go to the ant, you sluggard or lazy man. Consider her ways and be wise. She, having no overseer, leader, or anybody to tell her what to do, she rises up and gathers her food. Are you waiting for somebody to tell you what to do? Or are you working with the ideas that are popping up in your mind? Go to the ant. Her brain is really, really tiny, but she devises what she's going to do. You are better than that. You have a brain, you have ideas popping into your head, you have hands to work. And then the Bible talks about the lazy man in Proverbs 13. Proverbs 26:13. He is so lazy, he doesn't even want to put food to his mouth. And he gives excuses why something can be done. It says, the slothful man says, there's a lion in the streets. I will be slain by the lion. Have you ever seen a lion lying in the streets anywhere in the world? Lions live in forests, but the Bible says the lazy man will manage to come up with an excuse that there's a lion in the streets and that's why he's in bed. And the Bible says like a door turns on its hinges, the lazy man will turn and say, I want a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands, so your poverty will come like a traveler. And sometimes I talk to young people. I ask them, do you want to be a doctor? Some of them tell me, well, it's too long. I want something that will take me 2 years. Well, I have a quick example to tell you. I want you to compare the corn plant and a cocoa plant, or my favorite tree, Aborfonkatia or Terminalia catapa, or the tropical almond tree. An Aborfonkatia or tropical almond tree might take 2.5 years to start producing fruit. But once it does that, it would spend the next 20, 30, if not 40 years producing fruit. Or take the cocoa tree. The cocoa farmer typically has to wait for 5 years for their cocoa plant to start producing. But once it does, it's eternal, forever. It will produce until the cocoa farmer decides to burn down the whole farm. That is similar to going to any occupation that takes a long time. Medicine will take you 8 years to finish, and then another 4 years of residency. Some people want a quick one like corn. Well, if you plant corn, within 60 to 100 days, it will germinate. It will bear fruit. But then after your initial harvest, it's gone. So I want to encourage young people, invest your life in something that is worthwhile. You know, the salary structure is a little like a pyramid. If you do a short course, you find a lot of people at the bottom of the pyramid. If you do something that is harder and harder, you go to the top where your income is higher and you have fewer people, so there's larger demand for your services and a better income. I want to encourage you to work hard. Finally, I also want to talk about a woman who grew up in abject poverty. Her name was Coco Chanel. She was born to very poor and wed parents, and she was actually raised by nuns. It was a hard life in the orphanage. They taught her how to sew, using every little thing those poor nuns could find. Guess what? She used that skill and built it into an empire. Today, you go to any department store, you find Coco Chanel products and perfume. She introduced women to perfume. This is a woman who just chose to be fruitful. Today, I want to encourage you to work hard and say this after me. My hands are blessed with the blessings of the Lord. According to Deuteronomy, God will command the blessings upon me in my storehouses and in all that I set my hand to do. So today, I will set my hand on to do something. I will study hard. I will work hard. And I will win because God is on my side. And remember this. Henry Langsworth once said, "The great heights at which great men have attained was not by easy flight, but they, while their companions slept, toiled in the night." Today, I encourage you to work hard and be fruitful in the work of your hands. This has been Dr. Bertha Ayi presenting Word of Inspiration. Definitely join me tomorrow. God richly bless you.